Three new vehicles were unveiled in the past couple days. I live streamed both of them. Thank you guys for stopping out for those live streams. But I'm going to reassess all those vehicles that were released and kind of give you my thoughts and go from there. So the first one is the 2022 Subaru BRZ. We'll break that down. We'll also break down the new Honda Civic, the 2022 Honda Civic. And then lastly, we'll go over the Infiniti QX55. And this new BRZ, most importantly, guys, is a winner. Welcome back to the channel, Lexurious Fleet. My name's Kirk. I talk about Japanese and Korean autos. That is the specialty of the channel. And we need to get into Subaru's new 2022 BRZ. All right, let's break down the physical design. It's a lot more aggressive than the outgoing BRZ. A lot of people are saying the front end reminds them of the Porsche designs, like a slammed Cayenne or maybe even a Cayman. I love the looks of most Porsches, so that's not a bad thing to draw upon that aggressiveness. Now, the wheels are taken straight from the GR Yaris, so that's not a bad thing either. I'm sure those wheels are super light, very performance minded. The gills on the side are very Lexus RCF or even GSF, but since this is a coupe, RCF. Not quite as premium, not as quite as wide looking. It is actually functional, and the air flows from the gills to this largely pronounced side spoiler here to increase downforce. So it's definitely pretty striking from the side. It's almost a little overstyled for my opinion. I might like the outgoing model in terms of looks a little bit better, but I do like the rear design the most on this new BRZ. I think it looks really good. The rear taillights look great. Some people are saying it looks like a baby NSX from the taillights. That's not a bad thing either. Really like the trunk lid and how aggressive that is. Now on the interior, they upgraded the seats a little bit, and they got rid of the analog tachometer, speedometer for a digital display, which is somewhat customizable. It changes when you put it into track mode to represent a bar for the tachometer instead of the dial, which I'm such a traditionalist when it comes to manual transmission cars that I'd probably actually prefer a analog display there, but if it works well, we'll see. Now, the biggest surprise to me was the inclusion of a larger engine, but the displacement bump wasn't the surprise. It was the increase in power. I was expecting about 220 horsepower. Well, we got 228 horsepower, and we got about 28 pound-feet of torque more compared to the outgoing model. So I'm very excited to see how that will translate. And a lot of you guys have heard of that torque dip in the BRZ, the A6. I expect that to be completely gone, largely because I believe that was artificially installed into the vehicle software for emissions. If it's not going to be in Europe, they don't really have to meet specific emissions regulations with this BRZ and 8.6. Curb weight will be just under 2,900 pounds, which I believe it's actually heavier than the outgoing model by about 80 pounds. Largely due to the bigger motor. They did include a lot of aluminum in the vehicle. They have high tensile steel in the A, B, and C pillars. No one's really going to notice the increase in weight. They will notice the increase in torque and power though, that is for sure. The rear track, meaning the distance between the rear wheels, is actually wider, and that's why you see in the pictures a large plastic piece that kind of juts out, looks like a little fin on the rear fenders. That's to meet road regulations here in the United States. You can't have the wheels wider than the body, so they put those artificial pieces on the fenders. On a lot of vehicles, I see it on let's say the Lexus RCF, for example, it's on there as well. They're just a little bit more pronounced here. For better or for worse, I think they look kind of cool. They stylized them pretty well. They don't look like an afterthought. Wheelbase looks to be identical at 101.4 inches. And last fact here is that the screen is about an inch wider than the outgoing. I believe it's an 8-inch display over the 7-inch display, which when I test drove the Hakona 8.6 and reviewed it, I actually liked the display in there quite a bit. The BRZ will go in production at Subaru's Gunma Japanese plant. It's the exact same plant where they make the current one, right? It's really just a refresh, and the BRZ will go on sale early fall 2021. No announcements on pricing. I would expect pricing to go up maybe a few $100s. They did what they needed to make this car better. It's going to handle better. It's going to perform better, especially with the engine upgrade. And in some ways it looks better, but that's very, very subjective. And I can't wait to see the Toyota 86 because I think that can actually look a little bit better than this. In some ways, I like the outgoing BRZ styling on the front and the sides, maybe just a little bit better than this new models, but the rear of the new BRZ looks really, really good. And the whole design, I'm sure, will grow on me over time. A little baby Porsche in there, a little Lexus RCF, and on the rear, a little Acura NSX, Honda NSX. All those are good looking vehicles, so I can't complain really. Moving forward, the Honda Civic 2022 was unveiled on their gaming channel. The Twitch channel was the first vehicle unveil for any manufacturer to unveil a vehicle on Twitch. You know, when it was time to debut the vehicle, it was like a 30-minute or 30-second spot. And there was no designers or engineers talking about the vehicle. There's no specs given. It was just, here's a car, this is what it looks like on the outside. On the inside of the car, I believe there are some images out there. It's very minimalistic. The young peoples in this country, they like minimalism. I like minimalism. I'm not as young as I used to be, but the older I get, the more minimal I like to have things, even though my office is a little messy right now, but that's not where I want it to be. Anyways, guys, new Honda Civic, going to be very good looking on the exterior. It looks very European. I see a lot of Audi, a lot of Volkswagen coming from it, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Interior, like I said, very minimalistic. I hear that there's a volume knob in there, but there's not a tuning knob, so sorry to break your hearts, but I mean, yeah, I understand the reduction of the tuning knob because most people, at least when I'm in my car nowadays, I'm playing from Bluetooth. Most of the time, YouTube, Bluetooth, and tuning knob isn't going to do me any good on that. So that's just for me. I really don't use tuning knobs unless you're setting up the radio stations for the first time. But you can do that on a touchscreen, and then you just save that on your presets, and everything's ran from the steering wheel nowadays. So you guys know. And the last new car reveal was the QX55. I got copyright striked on my live stream because they had a artist playing Aloe Black. Never heard of him. The music was pretty good, but we didn't really, it was more of an interview with him than a showcase on the vehicle, really. I think the QX55 looks great. I like the taillights. I like the sloping roofline. It's definitely harkening back to the FX35s, FX50s, and it looks really, really good. I don't know what I'll say. The interior, now we all harp on Infinity's interiors for being outdated, but you know, this black and red interior does not look bad. I would not mind sitting in here. It's a little plain. The only thing that kind of bothers me is this dual screen system just looks a little tacky, a little underthought. I'm sure it's functional, but it's just not very luxury-like when you look at it. But the rest of it looks okay. Now it's going to have the variable compression turbo 4-cylinder, 268 horsepower, 280 pound-feet of torque. Love the engine, hate the transmission. It's just a CVT mated to it. It's going to be the same thing as the QX50, which is a huge disappointment because this vehicle looks great and it's in a largely selling market, has a lot of potential growth, but Infinity just kind of shot themselves in the foot, pairing this very good engine and very good looking vehicle with a CVT transmission. So don't know if I can recommend it until it gets a true 8 or 10 speed automatic with a little bit more response, or a lot more response off the line, because it's a mush fest from like 0 to 30. It's really sad, but once you're up to speed, it's actually really, really responsive. Nissan looks like they're bringing the Xterra back, or possibly Nissan has one more revealed planned for this year. Well, they could have more. They should be unveiling the Frontier, but my gosh, it's almost a running joke at this point. We're never going to get the Frontier, but a truck-based SUV. Now, this is over at the Nissan Middle East YouTube page, so we're not going to get it here, but here are the images from it. They showed the headlights of this new truck-based SUV. From the side here, it could be the new Terra, which I'm guessing, but they have the X here. If we go back to the last image, we have X Experience. In the United States, we got the Xterra, rest in peace, but maybe they're calling the new Terra the Xterra with this X. So that is going to be debuting on 11/25. I'll probably live stream it. Why not? 11/25, actually. That's really close to Thanksgiving, so maybe not. But from the side, it looks very 4Runner, very Land Cruiser Prado. I'm excited for it just because truck-based SUVs are a thing of beauty. Can't get enough of them. And we got a couple more news things here. Before I let you guys go, Honda begins sales of all new N1. This is a key car, and this thing is really cute. It's a key car, so it's got a 660cc 3-cylinder. You can also turbocharge that. You can get it in all-wheel drive as well, but key car means it's only for the Japanese market, to my knowledge, and we're going to keep going. And got some sad news for you guys to wrap things up. Over at Road Racing World, Yamaha's legendary YZF R6 being discontinued, and that's not the only model. Also, the VMAX, the WR250R, one of the most respective and capable dual sports in the market right now, and it has been for a long time. That's being canceled, so rip WR, and then the S-Max as well is being canceled. But the one that probably hurts the most is a YZF R6. It's been around, I believe, since 1999. It is one of the most iconic sport bikes, super sport bikes ever. The first time I rode on a motorcycle was actually on a 2001 YZF R6. My brother-in-law had one, and that's when I fell in love with motorcycles. And that was probably back in 2002, 2003. Loved Yamaha motorcycles ever since, thanks to the YZF R6, largely due to emissions. They can't even sell it in Europe anymore. It's really sad to see. And yes, we do have some awesome sport bikes, or I should say sport nakeds in the market now, with the MT09, MT10, etc. But man, it's just sad to see. Rest in peace, YZF R6. We'll miss you. And guys, I'll see you in the comments. If you made it this far into the video, smash the like button. I still feel like I haven't caught up on sleep from that double live stream. It was late live stream for the QX55 and the Honda Civic on, was it Tuesday night? And then I woke up Monday or Wednesday morning and I live streamed the BRZ unveil. And I still feel, well, with a newborn as well. Throw that into the mix, and I felt like I still haven't caught up on sleep. So if I look tired and sound tired, I am tired. Wish me well. Just need to get some sleep. Easier said than done, right? I'll see you guys in the next video. Definitely see you in the comments as well. Take care of yourself. Have a wonderful day, and peace out.